Hey everyone, William here, and I have a very special video. Mainly because I want to talk about the ANW obstacle contest. Now, for those of you who don't know, this past year as well as last year, ANW in collaboration with SB Nation slash ANW Nation held a contest where viewers can submit their designs for obstacles that could potentially be used in American Ninja Warrior. Now, last year I didn't enter because I didn't, and as we saw in American Ninja Warrior 9, there was, I believe, 7 obstacles that ended up being used for the actual show itself, although only one obstacle was the actual winner. That obstacle being the Crank It Up, as featured in the Kansas City regional course. So, I decided this time around that I was going to attempt to make my own submissions for the actual contest itself. So you're allowed to submit up to 2 entries, although when I was looking through some of the submitted entries, I noticed one person cheated and drew multiple designs on a single piece of paper. I appreciate your hustle, person who did that. But these are my 2 designs. I decided to go 2 different ways. So first, I decided to go with an obstacle that was, I'd say, reasonable to get picked by ANW, something that could be a bit realistic. And my other entry, I decided to go with something that technically might not work, but I'd much rather them spend the money to see if it'll work than have me spend the money to see if it works, because I don't want to do it. So the first one I want to show off is the one that I think is a bit of a long shot, the one that might not work. And partially this one might not get picked is because this is specifically designed to replace the wall flip on stage 2 of Monorail in Vegas, and you can't put it anywhere else. This is the Sands of Time. Basically, I have access to a 2D drawing program, and I then decided to color in with my amazing drawing skills. Amazing skills. So this is what we got. So the idea is that it's a take on the wall lift, in that you have this wall that is at an angle, and the reason the short side is down instead of the long side is that the short side has all this sand, or it could be like, plastic beads, ball bearings, stuff like that, on one side. So the ninja, when they get to that portion, they have to lift the wall up. However, this is going to cause a chain reaction where all of those beads, all that sand, if you will, when you lift it up, it's going to cause the sand to fall down to the other side of the wall. Because the top part here, this is like a plexiglass case. So it goes all the way down to the other side. And as a result, you would essentially have to lift up the wall again. So you then have to crawl through and lift it up as you're going through. So essentially you have to do the wall lift twice, in a way. And this is sort of like my idea of like trying to prevent people from like cheesing an obstacle. Because one of the things with the wall lift is that you can kind of cheese it, And one of the problems with the wall lift is that like the obstacle itself makes it a lot easier to do. This one, you got gravity working against you in many ways, and so if something like this could work, it could really test a person. The only reason it might not work, in my opinion, is that there's a possibility that a person can like lift the wall and like kind of slide underneath it before all the sand tilts over. So that's why I think you can't have the wall be the pivot point be that high. So basically, you have to get it a certain height, and it'll just like gravity will just naturally take, do the rest. So I don't know if this is going to work for that reason, but I think Sands of Time is a cool name, and I think that this is something that could work. But since I'm not willing to put the money in to see if it will work, they can try it out, if they so desire. Now, as for my second design, this is one that is a bit more reasonable, I think, a bit more likely to get picked by ANW. So this is the Monorail. So this obstacle is basically a combination of two obstacles I really like, the pipe slider and the vertical limit. Now it's not going to be as hard as the vertical limit because you can hold the sides here, but basically it's a single board, let's say a 2x4, that you have to hold on to and slide and move your body sideways to slide along a track, like a monorail, so to speak. And in the middle here, once you get to the midpoint, you then have to do a transfer over to a second monorail and get to the end and then do the dismount. So so it's got a lot of things that ANW likes. It's got first, it's got a sideways movement while doing a sliding thing, which is very different than I think a lot of obstacles. So it's challenging ninjas to do something that is different than other stuff. It's got a lâché in the middle, and you got a dismount. And obviously, you can extend the distance that the second monorail is away from the landing platform very easily. And you can obviously you can adjust the distance between the two. But basically, this is it's a real grip strength tester too. So there's a lot of things that the ninjas have got to do if this was to be an obstacle. This is something that would work perfectly in a regionals course. It is something that you could easily adapt for Doriyama, especially in stage 3, in my opinion. This is a very realistic obstacle, in my view, and it is part of the reason why I chose this one to submit. If I were to get picked, I think this one is the more likely one to get picked, and I think it would be cool. Honestly, I think I have a chance of winning, because I think this is evil enough for them to pick, but it's not like overly complicated that it gets kind of dumb. So we'll see what happens. I don't necessarily, personally speaking, I don't necessarily have to win to be happy. It'd be cool with the whole flying down and doing a segment of crashing the course, like Kevin did this year. But for me, just to see one of my obstacle designs get picked to be on the show, that'd be cool enough, personally. But if I get picked once, might not necessarily enter again, because they can only get so much free labor out of me. But those are my submissions for the ANW Obstacle Design Contest. What do you think of those two obstacles? Do you think they got a shot of winning? Do you like them? Do you not like them? Let me know. I'm curious to see what people think. And honestly, I'm looking forward to seeing the results, because I think overall, the obstacle contest came up with some good designs this year. Most of the submissions, in my opinion, were really good obstacles, and some of the best, honestly, came from the obstacle design contest. So hopefully this time around, the obstacle design contest produces another winner. But I guess we're just gonna have to wait and see. So thank you everyone for watching, and I hope to see you again. Thanks for watching.